This is the fastest way to make $10,000 a month profit with reselling in 2025. Now you may be asking yourself, who are you in the first place and why should I even bother listening to you? I started reselling at the age of 14 or 15, back when Supreme, PS5s were at its peak, and I've managed to generate over 6 figures in revenue by the age of 18. I've pretty much been reselling my entire life. That's really all I know, and it has always been an on and off thing, but I got back into reselling earlier this year, March 2025, and in my first month, I made 10K a month profit. And not only that, I've managed to help other resellers scale from 10K, 15K, and even 20K a month profit from reselling. I've had clients quit their jobs and even buy their dream cars as well. That's too much talking, so let's get straight into it. Now, obviously you're watching this for a reason. You've been stuck at 2 to 5K for months from reselling. You're grinding your ass off, but you still don't see the results that you expect. You see other resellers make 10 to 30K a month, and you keep asking yourself, what do they know that I don't? Your listings and accounts keep getting taken down. You tried everything to scale, but nothing seems to work. Now, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how I managed to make $20,000 in only 6 weeks. I was in your exact same position. I was listing saturated products on Depop and Facebook and every other selling platform that all these resellers tell you to list on, barely making any profit at all, maybe only making $10 to $20 profit max per sale. I felt lost and confused why nothing worked for me, but somehow was working for other people. And that was until I found this untapped method that literally nobody knows about. This is the exact same method that made me $20,000 in 6 weeks just on eBay alone. So in this video, I'm going to break down this exact same strategy that I implemented and found. And my promise to you is that if you stick until the end, you're going to realize that making 10K a month just from reselling on eBay without vendor links or without any info sales is totally doable. And the best part is you don't need followers, and there's extremely high profit margins and absolutely zero competition. Now, here are my personal results just from eBay alone. And as you guys can see right here, in the past 30 days, I've generated over 3.5 million impressions on eBay and over 9,000 views on my listings in only 30 days. And as you guys can see, I've generated over $20,900 in only 6 weeks from selling on eBay. Now, you guys will notice that it says 90-day total, but I haven't even been selling on eBay for 2 months yet. And as you guys can see, my total funds this day was 1.1K. But me personally, I don't like just talking. I like actually showing you guys results so you guys know that I'm not speaking out of my ass and everything that comes out of my mouth is nothing but facts. You guys can see that these are all not only my sales, but also my client sales as well, just from selling on eBay. Sale for $850, $650, $650, $675, $850, $800, $722, $550, $550, $200, $700, $745, $500, $725, $750. A client made $10,000 just on eBay, and a bunch of interested people on Messenger, on Facebook. Bam, 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 bam. Of course, me actually ordering the physical products that's selling, and this is not even all of the results. Now, with that being said, let's get straight into it. Now, this is what most noob resellers do. This is what complete beginners do, and this is exactly why they fail, and this is exactly why they're never going to see $10,000 a month ever in their life with reselling. Now, what most beginners do is they see videos on TikTok and Instagram, and they see these reselling videos of people telling them to, sell AirPods, sell Spider, sell this, sell that. The problem with that is that there's endless competition. They're extremely slow movers since there's a bunch of people selling them. So obviously it makes it less likely that people are going to reach out to them when they have a bunch of listings to choose from. And of course, there's low profit margins because everybody's undercutting each other, trying to make a quick sale, trying to make money, and it's just a fucking mess, right? And if you really think about it, the average reseller only makes around $20 profit per sale on average. And what that means is it would take the average reseller 500 sales in 1 month to make $10,000 a month in profit. And for the average reseller, it is literally impossible to make 500 sales, especially if they're a beginner. Another common issue with these noob resellers, they have a lack of automations and strategy. They literally do not have any intention or game plan behind what they do. They're working all day, but they're still stuck, not actually seeing progress. They're replying to messages all day, and all they're doing is guesswork. Like I said, there's no game plan, there's no intention, there's no actual strategy behind what they do. And the truth is, you can list all day long, but if the product is already dead, no title hack will save you. Be honest with yourself for 1 second. Think back to a time where you were so locked in, you were doing all the work, you were working every single day 24/7, you were taking pictures of your product, you were listing all your inventory, you were outreaching to people, you were doing market research, you were doing everything in your power to scale to that 10K a month, but somehow you still did not see any progress. Nobody reached out to you, you don't make any sales, and all of your listings and accounts keep getting banned. And the simple truth is that you'll never actually see exponential progress if you don't have a game plan or strategy behind what it is you do. You need to have a goal, and once you have that goal, that's when you can actually create a plan or strategy behind that, which is going to illuminate the path for you to actually achieve that goal. And once you get very clear on your goal and on your strategy, it's actually much achievable to reach that goal. For example, let's say it's 10K a month, because now that you have that goal, you can actually break it down into actionable steps, and it gives you much more clarity on exactly what it is you need to do and why you need to do it. Mistake number 3 that most beginner resellers do is all they do is copy every other reseller they see online. And what you need to understand is that resellers are literally lying to you simply for their benefit. For example, when you see all of these reselling videos on your For You page, on your Explore page, they tell you to buy their vendors. All they want you to do is to buy their vendors from their website so they can profit off of you. And the thing is, if they give you valid vendors, then sure, that's fine. There's no problem with that at all. But a lot of these quote unquote resellers don't actually resell. All they do is sell vendor link. And you also have to understand that what works for everybody else isn't always going to work for you. For example, I know some people that absolutely crush with designer shoes, designer clothes. But for example, in my area, that simply would not work because I'm in the suburbs. So it's a whole different type of demographic. It's a whole different type of target audience. Sure, they still like designer, but it's not going to sell nowhere near compared to other locations. And one thing that I even noticed with myself as well, when you copy every other reseller or you just copy anybody in general, you're going to be very limited to your creativity, to thinking outside the box, because you're just copying other people. You don't think for yourself pretty much. And what you have to understand is that creativity is actually a skill. It's a skill that has to be developed. It's like a muscle. When you go to the gym and you hit buys, you lift the weight, you lift the weight, you lift the weight, and over time you get stronger. It's the exact same thing with creativity. If you have no ideas, if you can't even think for yourself, bro, I promise you're gonna struggle so much. All you're gonna want to do is copy people, ask a bunch of basic questions, and it's just not how you want to operate. And the truth is, you've already tried copying other resellers, but for some reason it still doesn't work for you and you're not sure why. Now, if you guys haven't realized yet, I don't sell AirPods, I don't sell colognes, I don't sell clothes. I only sell untapped winning product. For example, I get this untapped winning product for only $20 from my supplier, and I resell it for $600, which is a 30x return on investment, and the profit on that is $580. And as you guys can see, I've sold this product multiple times on eBay. So you can see a sale for $600 and another sale for $550. Now, another example of an untapped winning product that I sell is this product cost me $350 and I resell it for $850 to $1,000, which is a 2 to 3x ROI. Now, what you'll notice is that the return on investment on these two products is way higher, and with this one is way lower. Now, just because this product has a smaller ROI does not mean it's not a winning product, because it still has huge profit margins. As you guys can see, it's pretty much like a 2 to 3x your profit, 400 to 650. Now, like I said, all I do is resell untapped winning products, which means I have no competition, high profit margins, and I make consistent sales. Before we source untapped winning product, first we need to define what factors actually define a winning product. Now, if you're trying to sell random products without qualifying or doing research, you're going to be stuck with dead inventory just sitting in your closet, which you do not want. Trust me, I've been there and it fucking sucks, which is exactly why you're watching this video right now. Now, these are the 4 factors that actually define a winning product. Number 1, it has to have high profit margins, or else it's not even worth your time. There has to be low or at least limited supply, so that way it's not something that anybody can just buy off of Dick's or, Walmart or Target. It has to be something that is very limited, so that way they come to you. Customers come to you because the supply is so low, which gives them no other choice but to buy from you. Number 3, it needs to have high demand, or else it's not even worth it, because you do not want to have dead inventory just sitting in your closet. And number 4, not only does it need to have high demand, but there has to be consistent sales. Now, when I say the product needs to have high profit margins, this can range anywhere from 2 to 30x ROI. So how I mentioned previously, there's a product that I bought for $20 from my supplier and I sold it for $600, which is insane. As you guys can see, it's a 30x ROI. Now compare that to the golf clubs. It's a 2 to 3x ROI. So it's going to cost you more capital, but around the same profit. Now, if you have the capital, obviously this is still a good winning product. Just because it's not a 30x ROI does not mean this is not a winning product, because this product sells consistently on a daily basis. The fact that the cost is much higher and it's only a 2 to 3x. Now, if you were to buy a product for $20 and sell it for like 40 to 60, which is still a 2 to 3x ROI, I would not consider that a winning product, simply because the profit margins are very low and you would have to make a bunch of sales on that product to actually make it worth it. Now, when it comes to low supply, you have to understand that if there's unlimited supply, you will have a lot of competition, which will lead you to making less sales. For example, these Panda Dunks. This is a great example. I remember these dropped back in I don't even know. This was a long ass time ago, like 2020. They were very limited at the time. Everybody was going crazy for them. Resale was like $300 and retail was like $90, which is absolutely insane. There was a bunch of demand, bunch of hype, and they were going for extremely high. Now, they were limited at one point, but then at one point Nike decided to just completely restock all the time. Foot Lockers would have it, Champs would have it, and they would just consistently restock. And what that did is that tanked the market on this went from like $3 to $350 per pair all the way down to less than retail at this point. I think they go for like $80. And the fact that there's so much stock in circulation means that the market is obviously going to go down. So now that there's unlimited supply, customers would rather go and buy this product directly from Nike instead of actually purchasing this from you. Why? Because it's unlimited supply. It's literally like the Air Forces. There's unlimited stock. They're not really a good product to sell. So you have to make sure that there's low supply, or at least limited supply. So this way you can capitalize on that product and be the only supplier and be the only plug for that product. And obviously you need to find a product that has high demand. So look for hype, whether the product has collaborations, or just look at the past sales, so that way you can determine whether people actually want this product. For example, like I said, I don't sell colognes, and the last thing that you want is to have colognes just sitting in your closet collecting dust with fucking mosquitoes flying over it because of how old it is, right? And obviously, like I said, you want to make sure it has consistent sales. Ideally, you want products that sell quick. Me personally, I look at products that sell at least every single day or at least every other day. And if the profit margins are high, then it would make more sense if the volume of sales is lower, simply because the profit margins are way higher. So for example, these golf clubs sell every single day for insane profits. Now, the moment that you guys have been waiting for, I'm about to break down the entire process of how to actually find winning products and how I did it and how I found this method. So number 1, you're going to want to search for keywords on eBay. For example, like shirt, shoes, boots, fragrance, hat, etc. Use ChatGPT to give you a list of keywords as well. Use ChatGPT to give you a list of keywords, so this way you don't run out of ideas or leads. And number 2, you're going to want to filter to sold listings only on eBay, right? So when you scroll down, I would actually be very broad when it comes to the keyword. So don't be too specific. You want it to be very broad, literally like just a 1 or 2 word sentence on the search button, because if you keep on adding more keywords, then you're going to be limited to the actual past sales that you see. So I personally like making the keywords very simple, preferably 1 or 2 words max. So this way it gives me all of the products that's on their website. So yeah, going back to number 2, you want to make sure that you filter it to sold listings. Once you click on the sold listings toggle, the completed items is going to be automatically checked out as well. And bam, then it's going to show you all of the past sales for that specific keyword that you searched up. And when you actually look at this, when you actually go on the sold listings page, this is what you want to look for. Obviously, you want to make sure that there's high profit margins. Now, you may not have a supplier for the product yet, but what you can do is go on Alibaba, search up the product. For example, let's say it's hat in this case. You would just search up hats and just get a rough estimate of how much these suppliers sell hats for, and that'll give you a rough idea. Number 2, you want to make sure they have low or at least limited supply. So do some research on the actual product, whether it's something that's always in stock, whether it's always in store or online, or if it's just like a one-time release, which is ideally what you want. And number 2, high demand. And obviously number 4, consistent sales. That's what actually determines represents a winning product. Now, this is how you actually find high quality suppliers, and these are the methods that I personally implemented myself. Now, number one, Alibaba. Pretty straightforward, pretty known from everybody. You most likely know or have heard of Alibaba if you're a reseller, because I hope you're not shopping on DHgate. Worst thing you can do. So the thing with Alibaba, there's many suppliers to choose from, and the possibility of finding suppliers who already manufacture the product. Now, one thing you have to understand with untapped winning products is that most of the time there's not going to be a supplier for that product. So you have to actually find a supplier. For example, let's say your winning product is a hat. You want to find a winning supplier that produces hats. They may not produce the exact same style that you have for the product that you found. And there's also a possibility of finding suppliers who already manufacture your product, which is good. And you have the ability to qualify and check company reviews, which is super crucial, especially when you decide to work with a supplier that you've never worked with ever in your life. Number two is a sourcing agent. Now, with a sourcing agent, you can find high quality suppliers, but the thing is, there is going to be upfront cost in order to pay for a sourcing agent to find you the right supplier, and you also get access to quality control pictures before confirming the supplier. So a sourcing agent is pretty much a person that finds suppliers for you. They're usually based overseas, and pretty much how it works is you pay a sourcing agent. The sourcing agent is not the supplier. They're not a producer. They're not a factory. All they do is find the suppliers or vendors for you, right? That's their job. That title of their job is a sourcing agent. They source vendors for you. That's their job, right? They're not affiliated with these factories, these companies. They just find them for you. They do obviously cost money, so you have to pay them, and then they'll do their research, find the suppliers based on the requirements that you ask them or that you need, and they'll be sending you pictures of their either company reviews or their products, so this way you can actually see whether you want to confirm that you want that supplier. So yeah, it's not really cheap if I'm being honest, but if you do find a really good winning product and you need to make sure that you find a high quality supplier, then I highly recommend this. And you can find a sourcing agent on Fiverr or Upwork. I personally found some of my sourcing agents from Fiverr, so literally just search it up. Make sure you find, like, you filter it to the good ones. I think it's like level 1 or level 3. I'm not sure which one, but yeah, you get the point. And finally, once you find the right supplier, you want to order the original sample and ship it to the supplier in order for them to actually copy it one-to-one. Now, for example, let's say the winning product that I have is this hat right now. If you guys don't know, I absolutely crushed it with hats. Like, these are absolutely printing for me right now. Not this model specifically. This is just a personal, but hats have been crushing it for me. So this is what I did. After I found that hats are a winning product and I did research on the specific brands, the specific models, the specific styles, why it's hyped up, just the story behind it, I ordered the original sample from eBay. Like, I ordered the authentic product and I shipped it to the supplier that I qualified from Alibaba or from my sourcing agent. And the reason why this is so important, even though it is going to cost you some capital to purchase the original sample and pay for shipping to the supplier, now the supplier actually has a reference, a physical reference as to how the supplier now has a physical reference of how the product should look like. So now that they have the actual original sample, let's say the hat was in my case, they can actually look at the details, make sure everything's one-to-one, and refine things and just make sure it looks good. It looks the exact same, right? Because if you just send them pictures or videos, I promise you their samples are not gonna be good at all, and you're gonna be very frustrated that you wasted your time and money on all of that. So it is gonna cost you a little bit more money to actually purchase the original sample, but I promise you it's worth it. And if you have the capital, then you shouldn't be complaining, bro. Like, I took a risk on this product, on a bunch of other products. Like, all I do is take risk, right? I purchased the original sample, I ship it to the supplier, which is pretty expensive, you know, shipping to China, and guess what? That's how I print. Like, this shit works, bro. I'm telling you guys, this fucking works. I'm literally the only guy talking about this, going in debt, bidding this game that no other resellers talking about. Every other reseller is still back in 2020 selling AirPods and cologne and clothes. Come on now, bro. The market is completely different. It's not the same as what it used to be. So you guys need to hop on the new wave and have to actually adapt to the way that reselling is moving right now, because like I said, it's completely different than what it was even last year, bro. Like, it's completely changed. So make sure you guys are always adapting, you guys are always learning, you guys are always implementing as well, because if all you guys are doing is consuming information and you're not actually taking action and implementing this, then you're not going to see progress, right? You're not going to make any sales and you're not going to make any money, unfortunately. Yeah, this is pretty much the entire breakdown of how I made $20,000 in 6 weeks just from selling on eBay. eBay, and it's with untapped winning products. And I already showed you guys 2 of the winning products that I have. One is the golf clubs, and number 2 is the hat, bam, which is pretty insane. You can see I sold this hat for $660, and you guys already know what the hats cost me. So if you guys do want access to the golf supplier so that you guys can start printing like this, then just head over to my website, cabsells.com. You can also just click on the link in my bio of my Instagram, or I might leave it somewhere down in the description as well. And if you guys do want to join my completely free Telegram, where I drop a bunch of sauce, leak some stuff that I don't ever mention here on YouTube or Instagram, and sometimes I even give early access to anything that I release, and I give giveaways in there as well. So just stay tuned. I drop a bunch of value in there, not just related to reselling, but just overall personal development, because I truly believe that, you know, personal development is a huge factor to your success in any business. I'm a huge fan of personal development, so make sure you guys tap into the free Telegram, completely free, no cost, none of that. And if you guys do want to apply to work with me one-on-one, there's going to be a link down in the description as well, so that way we can get you scaled up to 10, 15, 20k, exactly how I did with my other clients. So yeah, I appreciate you guys, you know, for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.